Hey everybody, this video is on solving quadratic equations with the quadratic formula. It's important to get those two things separated in your mind. The equation is the thing you're trying to solve. The formula is the tool that allows you to find out the value of x in these problems. First step in solving these problems is to be clear about the terms. You need to have your equation in standard form, meaning ax squared, the squared term first, plus bx, the linear term, second, plus c, the constant term, third. One of the most important things also is that you've got to have this equal to 0. You are trying to find the value of x when y is equal to 0. That's a trick. You must always have this set up for 0 before you use the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula only works for solving y values equal to 0. If you were to get a y value that was, say, 10, you would want to subtract 10 from both sides. This number then would become negative 38. It's solved for 0, and you can use the quadratic formula. Reviewing the formula itself, which you must have absolutely memorized, it says if ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, like we just mentioned, and a is not equal to 0, in other words, if this were 0, this would not even be a quadratic equation, it would be more of a linear equation, then x can be found by using this tool. You take the opposite of b, which is right here, it's the coefficient of x. In this case, b is equal to negative 10, plus or minus the square root of all this work done in here ahead of time. So you're doing b squared minus 4ac. That difference, you square it, you multiply it, you get this product, you subtract them, get that difference, and you square root it. All that is divided by 2a to get x. We'll be walking through that shortly. The first step, however, is to identify a, b, and c. To avoid errors, you should write out a, b, and c. What are they? Write out their values right now. So on the paper, please, right now, copy down this equation. Write down a equals b equals c equals. Put down your values. Okay, so hopefully you got that done without any issues. And you should have a is equal to 2, b is equal to negative 10, c is equal to negative 28. You have those listed out. Now take a minute, and I'm going to ask you to just go ahead and list out separately. You don't always have to do this, but just this first time, separately list out what is negative b, what is b squared, what is 4ac, what is 2a. List those out. So just go ahead and make a list like this, for this first time. List all those values. Go ahead, pause the recording, write them out. Okay, so with any luck, hopefully you have the original stuff here. A is 2, b is negative 10, c is negative 28, but also negative b. Notice, b is negative, so negative b is positive 10. b squared is negative 10 squared. Be careful with that. It's negative 10 times itself, which gives you positive 100. 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is negative 28, comes out to 224. And then 2a is 2 times 2. It's simply 4. So there's a lot of calculations in there. You got to make sure you get them all right. If any one of them goes astray, then the whole problem goes astray. Now the next step is to come over here and go ahead and calculate this part of the equation right here. It's called the discriminant. It helps you know whether you're going to have two solutions, one solution, or no solutions at all. So please substitute in your values for b squared, for 4ac, subtract them, and get the square root of them. Okay, so hopefully you got, for b squared, you have 100. You're taking away 4ac. 4ac itself is negative 224, so when you take that away, that's actually going to be positive 224. That's a very common sign error. You get 324. When you square root 324, you're lucky. It's a perfect square, which is going to give you nice, tidy answers. The next thing is to write out the plus or minus. There are two answers to this. It's going to be negative b plus that 18 and negative b minus that 18. That sum and that difference is divided by 2a. So I want you to write out those two possible options for x and then solve. Okay, so hopefully we know we got 18. We're talking about negative b, which we know is actually 10. B is negative 10, so negative b is going to be positive 10 plus 18. all over 2a, which is 4, because it's 2 times 2. Then negative b minus 18 all over 2a, which is, again, 4. Simplify it. 28 divided by 4, 7. Negative 8 divided by 4, negative 2. Those are your two x values. X can equal 7 or x can equal negative 2. An easy way to check this, put 7 into this equation. 7 squared times 2 minus 10 times 7 minus 28 should equal 0. Negative 2. Negative 2 squared times 2 minus 10 times negative 2 minus 28 should equal 0. Then you know for certain that you have the right answer. Okay, so here's one for you to do. X squared minus 3x minus 28. List out your values for a, b, and c, and since we're just getting used to this, please list out all these other values out. Watch out for minus 4ac. You don't want to have a sign error in there. Go ahead, do the entire calculation. In the end, you should have 2 answers for x. Go ahead. So for all your values, you should have a equals negative 1, b is negative 3, c is negative 28. So negative b is going to be 3, b squared is 9, 4ac is negative 112, and 2a is simply 2 times 1, 2. Okay, finishing things up. Hopefully you went over here, you did the discriminant value first. You got b squared is 9, because it's 3 squared, minus 4ac. This again was negative. You're taking away negative 112, so you're really adding 112. The sum of 9 and 112 is 121. So that discriminant value is 11. It's a positive number, which means you're going to get 2 answers. If this were 0, you would only get 1 answer. If this were a negative number, there would be no solutions to this quadratic equation. So if this is negative, there are no answers. If this is 0, just list one number that will be your solution because you're adding and subtracting 0, which is just going to give you just 1 answer. If it's positive, there are 2 answers. So negative b, 3 plus 11 over 2, so that's 14 halves. First answer is 7, x equals 7. Second one, 3 minus 11, negative 8 divided by 2. Your answer is negative 4. So the two possible x values are x equals 7 or x equals negative 4. You are done. If you want to know for sure that you're absolutely correct, you just take those two values, 7, plug it right up in there, negative 4, plug it right up in there. Should get it all equal to 0. Okay, so here are 4 quadratic equations that you need to solve. You have to find the value for x. Please, if you get stuck at all, just slide back in the video and review the different parts. It's really smart to list out the values of a, b, and c. Remember the if part of the quadratic formula. Remember that you may have one solution, you may have 2 solutions, you may have no solutions. Please show your work. Please check your solutions. Good luck.